Hey, if you're someone who's starting over, not just changing your address, but rebuilding your identity from scratch, then this one's for you. I see your fight, I honor your strength, and I believe in your story. My name is Arshia, and in the last year and a half since I moved to Canada, I've probably eaten Iranian food maybe 5 times. Not because I don't love it, not because I forgot it, but because I've been occupied. I've been busy building a life. I've been learning a new language, navigating a new city, creating new relationships, trying to make this place feel like home. And honestly, uh, I just didn't have the space in my mind to search for Persian stores and chase down old recipes. I didn't even think about it. And maybe that's part of the truth no one tells you. Some people don't miss the food not because they don't care, because they're too focused on surviving, evolving, and planting new roots. And maybe the reason some people stay attached to the food, to the symbols of home, is because they haven't truly entered the new life yet. Maybe they're not busy enough living forward, so their mind keeps reaching back. You know what I mean? Today's episode isn't really about the food. It's about what we carry. It's about the symbols, the flavors, the smells, the things that root us in where we came from and sometimes holds us back from where we're going. It's about growth, identity, and the complicated love between our past and our future. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what it really means to let go and grow. I want to talk about hidden attachments. I've been thinking a lot about why I didn't crave Iranian food, and not just food, but the entire world that came with. The rituals, the smells, the feeling of sitting around a table with family, the comfort of something familiar. And I realized maybe it's because I've never had the luxury to stop and miss it. When you're in a survival mode, when you're navigating a new country, working 2 jobs, trying to figure out healthcare, and reading job ads with a dictionary in your hand, whatever you want to call it, maybe Google Translate, ChatGPT, whatever, there's no time to get nostalgic, you know? And I don't say this as a badge of honor. I see it as a reflection of how intense this transition really is. I didn't choose to forget the flavors of home. I simply didn't have the space in my head to make room for them. And maybe that's true for a lot of people who've had to start over. We don't stop to miss the past because we are too busy surviving the present. But then there is the other side, the ones who cannot stop missing it, the ones who search for that exact rice their grandmother used to make, who drive 2 hours just to find the exact spice blend from their hometown, who say, I just can't live without it. I'm sure you've heard that before. At first, I didn't get it, but then it hit me. They're not just missing food, they're missing the feeling of safety. They're clinging to the last thing that felt like home. And I get that now. Because when everything around you is foreign and you're treated like an outsider, even a plate of food can feel like a warm hug from your past. It's not really about the stew or the rice or the bread. It's about memory, about identity. It's about trying to keep something familiar in a world that suddenly feels too big. Here's the truth: immigrants are some of the bravest people I've ever met. But even bravery has its soft spots. Don't you agree? Even warriors need something to hold on to. And food is often the easiest thing to reach for. It doesn't ask questions, it doesn't demand language, it just gives you something that feels known. But here's the danger. Sometimes we hold on to that one known thing so tightly that we miss the chance to create new knowns, new comforts, new memories that one day could mean just as much or even more. There is a phrase I never forget. It says, nostalgia is the pain of an ungrieved past. And I think that's what's happening for a lot of us. We haven't fully said goodbye or properly. So we keep tasting the past, hoping it will somehow stay alive. But that's not life. That's not moving forward. That's survival on a loop. What if we looked at food not just as a lifeline to past, but as a bridge to the future? What if, instead of recreating the exact dishes we grew up with, we create new ones, mixing flavors from where we came from with ingredients from where we are now? That's not betrayal. That's evolution. Don't you agree? That's what growth looks like. Not cutting off the past, but carrying it forward in a new shape. Because food is powerful, yeah? But even more powerful is the story we tell ourselves while we eat. We are feeding our bodies, we are feeding our fears or letting go. That difference between holding on and moving on is just mostly one conscious choice. You know what's tricky? The memory. When you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and constantly being pushed to your limits in a new country, your brain plays a dangerous little trick. It turns the past into a paradise. You start remembering your home country as if it was heaven on earth. You remember the smell of your grandma's kitchen, the laughter of your old friends, the rhythm of your city, and suddenly everything seems sweeter, simpler, and better. But here's the truth. That memory is edited. It's not lying, but it's not the full story either. You know, your brain is trying to protect you actually, has put a nostalgic filter on the past because right now the present feels like a war zone. It's lonely, it's unfamiliar, it's uphill. So it reaches back and clings to a version of the past that maybe never fully existed. And here's where the real danger begins. The more you idealize your past, the harder it becomes to build your future. Because when you're mentally living in a fantasy version of what was, you start to resent what is. You don't give the new life, the one you choose, a real chance to grow. You romanticize the old world and demonize the new one. But what if, instead of dreaming, you tested it? You don't need a mental fantasy to figure out whether your past was really better. You can get on a plane, go visit for a few days, step into paradise and let your senses remember it. All of it. The chaos, the traffic, the lack of safety, the emotional stress, the pressure. The things that pushed you away in the first place. Sometimes the moment you step off the plane, it all comes rushing back and not in the way you expected. Don't you agree? It's not that it's all terrible, but it's just that it's real. No filter, no fantasy, all real. And when you come back to your new life, to the challenges of immigration, you might find yourself holding a bit more gratitude, a bit more clarity. Because now you remember why you left. And more importantly, you remember why you choose this path. But, and this is important actually, if you go back and realize you were wrong, that immigration really doesn't work for you, and that life, the old life is what fits your soul better, then you're still not a failure. You're just someone who had the courage to try, and that deserves respect. Because the goal isn't to prove immigration is perfect. The goal is to live honestly, to choose the life that matches your truth, not your fantasy. Romanticizing the past might give you comfort, but it can also rob you from your future. So next time you find yourself lost in a dream of back home, ask yourself, was it really perfect, or I'm just afraid of building something new? It is funny how often we talk about food when we talk about home. But the thing is, food isn't just a food. For many immigrants, it's a symbol, a memory, a portal to a version of ourselves that felt safe, seen, and loved. It's the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, isn't it? It's the sound of a spoon scraping to the bottom of a pot while laughter fills the air. It's the one ritual that brings everyone together, no matter how different, no matter how distant, and for a moment you are whole again. So when we come to a new country, when the language feels foreign, when the rules are confusing, when the streets are unfamiliar, we look for something, anything that feels familiar, and that thing is can be food, don't you see? But here's the truth most people never say out loud. Clinging to the food of the past isn't always about the taste. Sometimes it's about fear. Not because you are weak, never that. Immigrants are the bravest people I know. I say this thousands of times, but bravery doesn't mean the fear isn't there. In fact, it means the fear is there and you still show up, still fight, still build, still try. See? The brain doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about your safety, my friend. It wants routine. It wants comfort. It wants what it already knows. And when you step out of your safe zone, when you move across the world, leave your job, your friends, language, your parents, your brain doesn't celebrate. It panics. So it tries to hold on to something, anything, a flavor, a smell or memory, something that says, this is who used to be, let's go back. But going back doesn't serve you now. Because you didn't come here just to survive. You came to grow, to evolve, to build a new kind of home. So when you find yourself reaching to old rituals, an old recipe, an old soundtrack, an old pattern, ask yourself, is this feeding my soul or just feeding my fear? Am I honoring my roots, or maybe I'm hiding inside them? Because growth is uncomfortable. It comes with risk, with rejection, with uncertainty, and your brain will do anything to protect you from that. But here's the part that matters. You can train it. You can coach your own mind to say, hey, I know this is scary, but I've been through worse. And this is my next chapter. So next time you feel pulled back by an old comfort, remind yourself, you're not just someone who left the past. You're someone who is building a future, and that's the kind of bravery the world needs more. I want to tell you a little bit about my own journey. When I first got to Quebec, I wasn't thinking about rice or stew. I wasn't craving the taste of home. I was craving progress. Not because I had anything against my old life. Actually, I had. But because I had a new one to build. That was my honest answer. And I knew it wouldn't build by itself. So instead of searching for Persian markets, I started searching for possibilities. And that's where my journey really began. One of the first things my wife and I did was to create a small WhatsApp group just for us, two of us, called Good Places. As simple as that. It wasn't fancy, it was just a space to pin the names of the restaurants, bars, cafe, little shops, places we passed by and thought, that looks interesting. Now, here's the thing. I don't just randomly pick places. I feel them. I've got this instinct, maybe sixth sense, maybe experience, I don't know. It's about foods and vibes. I can look at a restaurant and tell you if the food is going to hit your soul or not. Call it intuition, call it hunger, whatever. Call it an immigrant superpower. I don't know, but I trust it, and so does my wife. Yeah. Whenever I got that feeling, we'd check the reviews, read the comments, look at the photos, and if it made the cut, it went into the group. As simple as that. That little group turned into our personal map of joy, our list of places to try, our adventure waiting to happen. And you know what? That list kept growing. Every time we felt stuck, bored, homesick, we'd open Good Places. Pick a spot and go explore. That list made us feel rich in possibility. It reminded us that we weren't just surviving here. We were building something. And that was just the beginning, because I wasn't just trying to taste the city, I was trying to connect with it. From week 2, I repeat, not month 2, week 2, I started searching for local events, free gatherings, board game nights, cultural meetups, coffee chats, anything where humans came together. I didn't know French. I didn't even know how to introduce myself in French. But I showed up anyway. I said yes to the awkwardness, yes to not understanding, yes to being the outsider, until I wasn't. I also signed up for a gym near our place, not just to work out, but to meet people, to see the same faces, smile, nod, maybe share a word or two. Sometimes that's all you need to feel human again. As simple as that. Then came French class. And that was a turning point, because I met people who didn't speak English and I still made friends. We used Google Translate like it was oxygen. We had entire conversations by typing on our phones, holding them up, waiting for the other person to read and smile. It's crazy, but it was beautiful. And those weren't shallow connections. They were real. They were earned through effort, through presence, through shared vulnerability. You got what I said, don't you? That's what I prioritize instead of food. That's what I choose instead of searching for saffron or dried limes or sumac. I chose belonging over nostalgia, curiosity over comfort. And when I finally started working, that took everything to the next level. 12 to 13 hours per day, tight budget, tired feet, full hearts. I didn't have time to overthink. I didn't have time to scroll through Persian recipes on YouTube or hunt down hard to find ingredients. I had work to do. I had goals to chase. I had a life to build, not just remember. That's what I think some people miss about immigration. If you don't fill your calendar, Your mind will feel itself. If you don't move forward, your brain will start pulling you back. Not because it's cruel, because it is scared. And nostalgia is just your brain way of trying to feel safe again. So I gave mine something else to focus on. I gave it direction. I gave it discovery, connection, adventure. I built new associations, new habits, new memories. That's why I didn't think about Iranian food. Not because I forgot it, but because I was too busy becoming someone new. And maybe that's what we all need a little more of. Not just to remember what we've left behind, but to choose what we are building ahead. So now, it is your turn. You've heard my story, my choices, my way of navigating this new life. But this isn't really about just me. It's about you and the quiet battles you fight every single day. Maybe for you, it's food. Maybe it's a playlist. Maybe it's a piece of clothing, a language, or a smell. Something that connects you to your old life and keeps you from fully stepping into the new one. And I get it. We all crave safety. We all seek comfort. But what if, just what if, that comfort is keeping you from something bigger? So here's my challenge to you. Take a moment today, please, even 5 minutes. Ask yourself honestly, am I growing or am I just surviving? And if the answer hurts a little, you're not broken, you're not behind, you're just human. And you don't have to figure it out all alone. Don't you think? If something in this episode spoke to you, please tell me. Message me on Instagram. Share it with a friend. Post about it. Tag me. Let's keep this conversation alive. And if you felt seen, if you felt a little less alone today, then please subscribe. Because this podcast isn't about perfect answer. It's about the honest ones, actually. It's about creating a space for the brave, for those starting over to feel heard. So if you are one of us, hit that follow or subscribe button. Let's keep growing together.